A lot of people over 60 still believe squats are the best exercise for building strong legs. And honestly, years ago, that advice probably made sense. But here's the part nobody talks about enough. The body changes with age. What helped you feel strong at 40 can quietly start damaging your knees after 60. I've seen many older adults push through deep squats thinking they're doing something healthy while the joints slowly wear down little by little. The cartilage gets thinner. The knees lose stability. Balance changes too. And suddenly, one awkward movement can lead to pain that stays around for months. That's the scary part. The damage often happens slowly and silently before people realize what's going on. So in today's video, we're going to talk about a smarter approach. Not weaker, smarter. Welcome to the Senior Health Channel. If you want to stay mobile, independent, and confident as you age, make sure to subscribe. I'm going to show you 3 simple exercises that are much safer for aging knees while still helping you build real strength, balance, and stability without destroying your joints in the process. One thing I always remind older adults is this: the body after 60 is playing by different rules now. And honestly, that's not a bad thing. It's just reality. As we age, the cartilage inside the knees slowly becomes thinner. The joints lose hydration. Tendons and ligaments are not as strong and elastic as they used to be. Even recovery changes. A workout that once felt easy might suddenly leave your knees sore for days. That surprises a lot of people. They think something is wrong with them, so they push harder. But most of the time, the body is simply asking for a smarter approach. I see this constantly with older adults dealing with stiffness, arthritis, or balance problems. The risk of falling quietly increases with age, especially when the joints become unstable or painful. And the truth is, many workout routines online were designed for younger bodies, not aging joints. That's why trying to train exactly the same way at 65 as you did at 35 can sometimes do more harm than good. Aging is normal. Your body is not weak. It simply needs a different strategy now. Here's the part many people do not realize about deep squats after 60. The damage usually doesn't happen all at once. It builds slowly, quietly. A person starts doing squats, thinking they're helping their body, but inside the knee, there's constant grinding pressure happening every single time they go too low. The cartilage is already thinner with age, and the meniscus, that cushion inside the knees, not as strong or hydrated anymore. Then you add common mistakes like dropping too fast, bouncing back up with momentum, or using poor form, and the joint starts taking stress it simply cannot handle the same way it used to. At first, it may only feel like stiffness, maybe soreness going up the stairs, maybe swelling after a workout. But over time, that discomfort gets harder to ignore. I've seen many older adults unknowingly wear down their knees while believing they were doing something healthy. And honestly, that's frustrating because most of them were simply following fitness advice designed for younger people. The good news is, you do not need painful exercises to stay strong. There are safer ways to build muscle, improve balance, and protect your mobility without constantly grinding down your joints. One of my favorite exercises for adults over 60 is something incredibly simple: the sit to stand. Honestly, it may not look impressive, but this movement trains one of the most important skills for staying independent as you age. Every single day, you sit down and stand back up over and over again. And when that movement becomes weak or painful, daily life starts getting harder very fast. What I like about the sit to stand is that it strengthens the body in a much safer way than deep squats. It works the quadriceps, glutes, hips, and core without putting excessive grinding pressure on aging knees. The key is how you do it. I always tell people to lean slightly forward and push through the heels when standing up. That heel drive activates the larger muscles in the back of the body and takes stress off the front of the knees. And don't rush the lowering part either. Slowly sitting back down teaches control, balance, and stability at the same time. After 60, practical strength matters far more than flashy workouts. The real goal is being able to move safely, confidently, and independently every single day. One thing many people never hear about after 60 is that strength alone is not enough. Control matters just as much, especially when it comes to preventing falls. That slow lowering movement during exercises is called eccentric strength. but I usually explain it in simpler terms. It's the body's braking system. It's what helps you sit down safely instead of collapsing into a chair. It's what helps you catch yourself when you trip or lose balance for a second. And honestly, this is where many older adults begin struggling without even realizing it. The muscles may still feel fairly strong, but the body slowly loses the ability to slow movement down smoothly and react with control. That's why so many falls happen suddenly. Not because someone is weak, but because the body cannot stabilize itself fast enough in that moment. This is why controlled movement matters so much. When you lower yourself slowly and with control, you're training the muscles and nervous system to work together again. Over time, everyday movements start feeling safer. Sitting down feels steadier. Walking feels more natural. And little by little, confidence starts coming back too. The second exercise I really like for adults over 60 is the supported split stance hold. And honestly, this one is more important than most people realize because it trains something many seniors slowly lose with age: balance. A lot of people think strong legs alone will prevent falls, but that's not always true. I've seen older adults with decent strength still struggle with stability because the nervous system changes over time too. The communication between the brain, muscles, joints, and ankles becomes slower and less precise. That's where balance training becomes incredibly important. In this exercise, you place one foot forward and one foot back while lightly holding onto a chair or wall for support. That staggered stance forces the small stabilizing muscles around the hips, knees, ankles, and core to wake up and work together again. Your body has to make tiny adjustments every second to stay steady. And honestly, that's exactly what happens in real life. Falls rarely happen while standing perfectly still. They happen while turning, stepping backward, walking through the kitchen, or trying to catch yourself after losing balance for a split second. This exercise safely trains the body for those everyday moments while rebuilding confidence at the same time. One thing I always try to explain to older adults is that balance is not just about the legs. A huge part of it actually comes from the brain and nervous system. Every second, your brain is receiving signals from your feet, ankles, joints, eyes, and inner ear to figure out where your body is in space. When we're younger, those signals move quickly and smoothly. But with aging, that communication slows down little by little. Sometimes one side of the body even becomes weaker or less stable than the other without a person realizing it. I see this all the time. Someone feels steady on one leg, but the other side starts shaking almost immediately. And honestly, that imbalance matters more than people think. Research has shown that poor balance can predict falls even more strongly than muscle weakness alone. The good news is the nervous system can still improve. Balance training helps the brain and body communicate better again. It's almost like rebuilding trust between your muscles and movement. And over time, something really important starts happening. People stop feeling afraid every time they walk, turn, or step outside. That confidence can come back at any age. The third exercise I often recommend for adults over 60 is the step-back lunge to chair. And honestly, this movement trains something most people rarely practice anymore: stepping backward safely. That may sound simple, but in real life, a lot of falls happen during awkward moments. Backing away from the kitchen counter, turning too quickly in the bathroom at night, stepping around furniture without paying attention for a second. Those are the situations where people often lose balance and get hurt. What I like about the reverse lunge is that it strengthens the legs without putting the same grinding pressure on the knees that deep squats often create. When you step backward instead of forward, the knee usually stays in a safer position and the joint handles the movement much better. The key is to keep your chest up, move slowly, and lower yourself with control. I always tell people not to rush it. Let the chair behind you act like a safety target. Then push through the heel of the front foot as you come back up. That heel drive activates the glutes, hips, and upper legs without forcing the knees to absorb all the stress alone. Over time, this movement builds real-world strength that actually helps people move through daily life with more stability, coordination, and confidence, while keeping the joints safer at the same time. One thing that changes a lot after 60 is reaction speed. The body simply does not respond as quickly as it used to. And honestly, that's one of the biggest reasons falls become more dangerous with age. It's not always because someone is weak. Sometimes the body just cannot slow itself down fast enough after a sudden movement. Think about tripping on a rug, missing a step, or slipping for a split second in the kitchen. In that moment, your hips, knees, ankles, and nervous system all have to work together immediately to catch your balance. That ability is called deceleration. It's basically the body's way of absorbing force and stopping movement safely before you hit the ground. The problem is, most people never actually train that skill. That's why slow, controlled exercises become so important after 60. They teach the muscles and nervous system how to react together instead of panicking. Over time, the body becomes smoother, steadier, and more coordinated again. And really, that's the goal here, not trying to impress people with hard workouts. The real goal is staying independent, moving confidently, and keeping control of your body for as many years as possible. One thing I've learned after years of working with older adults is this: smart training almost never looks impressive. It's usually simple, controlled, consistent. And honestly, that's exactly why it works. A lot of people think they need intense workouts or heavy weights to stay strong after 60. But the truth is, the body at this stage of life responds better to steady movement than punishment. Small daily exercises done consistently can completely change how the body feels over time. Better balance, less stiffness, easier walking, more confidence getting up from a chair or climbing stairs. Those are the victories that really matter now. I've seen people in their 70s and even 80s regain strength and confidence they thought were gone forever simply because they stayed patient and kept moving. That's why I always tell people not to compare themselves to younger bodies or social media workouts. This is not about ego anymore. It's about protecting your independence and giving your body the support it needs to keep serving you well. So, if progress feels slow sometimes, don't give up. The body can still adapt, it can still improve. And often, the smallest, consistent habits end up creating the biggest changes years later. At the end of the day, staying strong after 60 is not about proving how much weight you can lift. It's about protecting your freedom. It's about being able to walk confidently, get out of bed without pain, climb stairs safely, and keep doing the simple things that make life feel normal and independent. That's why these 3 exercises matter so much. The sit-to-stand helps rebuild everyday leg strength in a safe and practical way. The supported split stance trains balance and stability so the body feels more secure during movement. And the step-back lunge teaches coordination and control while protecting the knees from unnecessary stress. None of these exercises are flashy, but honestly, that's the point. Smart training almost never looks dramatic. It looks steady. It looks controlled. And over time, those small daily movements can completely change how the body feels. I've seen people in their 70s and even 80s regain confidence they thought was gone forever. So if you've been struggling with knee pain, weakness, or fear of falling, please remember this: it is never too late to start rebuilding strength safely. Your body can still adapt. Your balance can still improve. Your future mobility is still worth fighting for. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I truly hope this video helps you move with less pain and more confidence. Let me know in the comments which of these 3 exercises you want to try first. And if you found this helpful, please subscribe to the Senior Health channel for more simple, science-based health strategies designed to help seniors stay strong, active, and independent for many healthy years to come. Stay safe, stay active, and I wish you many healthy years ahead.